Thank you to the EA Sports Game Changer program for flying me out to Orlando and allowing me to capture some early Madden 20 gameplay for you guys. Today we are in Madden Ultimate Team. You guys see our lineup before we hop into the game. I did make a few changes to the lineup before we actually hopped into this one, like putting Michael Thomas as our #1 wide receiver. You didn't get to see him. And we also put Aaron Rodgers as our quarterback for this game, even though we had Andrew Luck initially, just because I really liked Aaron Rodgers' release in the game. I was like, you know what? Let me have that fast release on my quarterback as we do a lateral to start the game. We go from Barkley to Tariq Cohen, and at the end of the day, it's pretty much like a touchback. So before we get into the game, I'll show you guys a quick way to check X Factor players that are activated on your team and your opponent's team before a game starts. You go into the main menu, bam, here it is. So if you don't know, who's juiced up before you get into the game, now we know that Todd Gurley's got Wrecking Ball in him. We really need to contain Gurley, and Drew Brees has got his ability on. We are playing against Koopa today, and he is a Saints fan, so no surprise to see he's got Drew Brees on his team. And while this game is going on in the background today, what I want to go over with you guys today are some of my favorite things about Madden 20 and some things I'm not the biggest fan of Madden 20. We are going to be doing what we'll call an honest review of early gameplay of Madden 20, not the final Madden 20 game itself, because everything that I say that I like in this game, I might not like in a couple of months, and everything I don't like about the game, vice versa, I might actually like in a couple of weeks or a couple of months. So without further ado, we will start off with the positives. I like being a positive person, so we will start off with the things I like about Madden 20. The mainly 5 things that I like about Madden 20. They will do 5 things that I feel like should be improved in the game. And these aren't really secrets that I'm dropping. What I'm saying in this video, what I'm about to say, I pretty much told all of this stuff to Madden devs, so like they kind of know like what I've said about the game and how I feel about what I like about the game. Like the first thing, the Superstar and X Factor abilities. Like you guys know, I played this game early. I showed you guys early gameplay in June. I went to EA Play, and we're showing this early capture footage as well. And from what I played so far, I really do like the X Factor and Superstar abilities, the way they're installed, because I feel like they make the stars feel like stars, which I'm sure is a moniker you guys have heard, but it truly stands out to where, Tom Brady feels like an elite quarterback, where in the past he just felt like a slow quarterback with really great accuracy stats. And I've always said in the past, I always like to use Adrian Peterson as an example, where it's like, when you play with Adrian Peterson in Madden, he just feels like a running back with good stats on him, not like Adrian Peterson. These Superstar abilities are tailored to fit players the way they play on NFL Sundays. So I really like that. And then, the X Factors as well is a cool addition to the game to just kind of make it hype. Like, oh man, Drew Brees is in the zone. He's about to take over this game. Patrick Mahomes has bazooka. It's a cool addition to the game, right? So, like, it always adds intrigue to the game of Madden, especially when you're playing against your friends. You want to try to activate those abilities. You don't want to try too hard to activate them because, you might wreck your own game plan. But you guys have seen a lot about X Factors and Superstars, so I won't dive too much into it. But I just say in general, I'm a big fan of what they've added, and I feel like this is something we'll see like 5 or 10 years down the road. We'll still see something of the likes of Superstar and X Factor abilities in Madden 20, because like I said, like it's making the stars feel like stars, and I feel like it's something that could have a permanent place in Madden, or at least something that'll be here for the next couple of years. So the second thing I like about Madden 20, as you guys saw, we put it on display right there, the RPOs. The run pass option is not only in Madden 20, but it works very well, and it's a very realistic option. You can't abuse it because you only have a second or two to make the reads, really just a second to make the reads, but you can find formations with good RPO plays. It's a lot of fun to use, and like I said, very effective. It can really catch defenders off guard. You can't just jump at running plays now with your linebackers. You have to be aware of the fact that an RPO might be coming, and if you jump to attack the running back, you're going to give a slant over the top. So it's a lot of fun. It's a pretty fun chess game, so as you guys see here, I'm loving the RPOs even during the 2-minute drill. The third thing I like about Madden 20, QB passing trajectories. When I say that, I mean the fact that a pass to a 30-yard post route downfield will actually have some air time on it instead of being a line drive. And those line drives end up being intercepted by a user defender like 5 or 10 yards behind you, undercutting that pass. And it's like, that's not the way football works. And now they fix pass trajectory, so that's really cool. Like, if we can have Madden playing like football on Sundays, That's a good thing. There's a lot of new additions to the game that makes Madden play like football on Sundays. And also along with that, the user defenders in general have also been toned down. Especially, not just user defenders, just linebackers in general have kind of been juiced down a little bit to where they're not skying up for the ball unless, you've got like a Bobby Wagner, someone really athletic, or a Deion Jones, a linebacker known for making those kind of plays. Otherwise, they hold their ground and you could, get those passing trajectories going if you get a pass over a defender that you wouldn't be able to do in the past, like at least 5 years of Madden, really since the ball hawk's been put into the game. So I like that a lot. One thing that, is not an NFL Sunday kind of thing, but a Madden kind of thing that I like, that you guys saw right there, is we are going to be skipping huddle animations in Madden 20. So that accelerates the pace of the game, and anything that accelerates the pace of the game of Madden is definitely cool, because sometimes Madden games take too long. Even with 4-minute quarters, it somehow feels like some Madden games take forever. So anything to speed the pace of the game up is cool in my eyes. So I wish there was an option to turn on the huddle animations if, you want to play that kind of simulated pace, right? But I do like the fact that it is on default off. So that is, the fourth thing that I like about the game. The fifth thing I like about the game, the number 5 and final thing we'll say that we like about the game, is the pass rush. I know a lot of people have some grips about the pass rush and it's coming in too quick, but I feel like it's not overpowered. You see Drew Brees has a lot of time against a 4-man pass rush, like almost too much time it feels like. I feel like they've actually toned down the pass rush since the beta came out last month, so I feel like the pass rush, the main thing, is gone kind of weak. Like, we might have to tone up that pass rush a little bit. Like, there we got a sack. I sent like the dogs at this man. They're down to 19. Here we're gonna send 40. See that? Once again, that pass rush is not exactly coming in quick. But in general, I do like the fact that they're upping up the pass rush, because it needs to be upped up. Because in the last couple of years, crossing routes have been so dominant, and it's been because you can't get a pass rush sending 4 people, and that's just crazy to think about that. 4 NFL defensive linemen get boxed up for 10 seconds. Like, that doesn't really happen too often in the NFL. So 2 other things that I want to mention really quick. Pump fakes, love them. New plays, new playbooks, love them. Love those additions to the game. But now, let's talk about some things that I feel like can definitely be improved in Madden 20 to make it a better game. Number 1, fumbles. I feel like there are too many fumbles in the game. I'm cool with quarterbacks fumbling more often. Like, Aaron Rodgers didn't fumble, but a lot of times you will fumble with your quarterback. But more importantly, players that are not quarterbacks fumbling the ball a lot. Like, for example, if you do not have a running back returning your kickoffs, you are risking a fumble. You're just playing with fire in Madden 20, risking a fumble. Like, even with the best returners in the game, like, you're risking a fumble. So, like, that's not cool to me. Like, even if you have, like Patrick Peterson is a pretty great returner, but he's going to fumble the ball if he takes, like, really many hits in this game. Like, I've seen Patrick Peterson fumble way too often in this game. Just, like, players in general, I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of the way the fumbles work. Like, I like user hit sticks being a skill, but not to the point where, like, there's multiple fumbles. When you think about it, people don't fumble that often in the NFL, and we're playing 4-minute quarter games. Like, I don't really know how many fumbles we should be seeing, but I feel like I've seen too many personally in Madden 20, so hopefully they tone that down. The second thing I'm not a big fan of is how long it takes for players to get in the zone to activate their X-Factor abilities, because it's a really cool feature in the game, and it kind of doesn't get to be put on display as much as you'd think. Like, it sounds OP, but it really never happens in game. Like, throughout the games I played, like, one, it takes a long time to get players in the zone when I force players to get in the zone for gameplay footage, and otherwise, it's really hard to get players in the zone. Like, Aaron Rodgers needs 5 consecutive completions of 5 or more to activate his gambler ability, and that's not easy to do, especially when you want to run a jet sweep or something like that. That's an automatic, like, L for Rodgers, and your counter goes back to 0, so I feel like they have to find a way to find a happy medium of getting X-Factor abilities to activate, especially in a mode like MUT with 4-minute quarters, but not make it, like, arcade mode, So that's number 2. Number 3 is actually something I said that I like, but specifically user defense with defensive backs, because I feel like from the beta, they actually toned down user defenders on defensive backs, and honestly, this might be more of a biased opinion, because I use my defensive backs all the time, but I feel like they kind of play like linebackers do, and like defensive backs are in general more athletic than your average linebacker, and I feel like they got toned down for the worse. So if they put it back to more to where the beta was, which I felt like was a good happy medium, then I'd be more happier with the way they play in the game. But for now, I'm not, like, the way we played this game in Orlando, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. Number 4, QB sense of pressure. The quarterbacks sometimes, like, they just throw very inaccurate passes for what feels like no reason. Like, I feel like there's too many inaccurate passes, but part of that might just be the fact that we're playing with low overall quarterbacks in the sense we're playing like 80. Even the best quarterbacks are like Aaron Rodgers is an 83, Cam's like an 80, and these guys are just like throwing it to the sky, throwing it the wrong side of the field and stuff like that. But I feel like part of that's because of the trigger of when a quarterback is feeling pressure in the game might be a little bit too strong, especially against, you know, good defensive linemen. Like, yes, Aaron Rodgers makes you nervous, but he doesn't force you to hit your head coach when you're trying to throw an in route, you know? So the final thing that, you know, I have some grips about with the game is power-ups. I did kind of mention this in an earlier video. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the way power-ups work and what it takes to put X Factor and superstar abilities on your players in Madden Ultimate Team. I don't know, man. It's just not something I'm a big fan of personally. I'm not sure if it's just me or not, but that's just my number 5 on my list, right? That's part of my list of things I like and don't like. So that's my honest opinion of Madden 20 and what I like about it. But at the end of the day, I really do like Madden 20. I like the amount of changes for the better that they put in the game. And I feel like this is going to be the best Madden in a while, or at least like the most improved Madden in a while, right? We have not seen these many improvements in a Madden game in such a long time, these many new abilities, new features in the game, which is what I'm really excited about, which is why I really do give Madden 20 some high praise, even though we were negative for the last couple of minutes. I'm really looking forward to this game of Madden, and I'm really enjoying what they did for this game, and hopefully they can continue improving it the way they have with the pace they have in Madden 20 in upcoming years. So leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys like what you heard. Subscribe for more Madden 20 gameplays because we will be doing that all year long, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you for watching.